Hello! Welcome back to Higurashi.
We're in. We're doing it.
I don't know what's happening with that audio system here, Ben. I feel like that last episode might have been clipping a lot towards the end.
You know what? There's nothing
because
we
for
can do
whatever
about
reason, the volume meter on the system next to me is just not having a good day.
It's just automatically changing shit and going haywire. It's an
Yeah.
AI. It's taking over the system.
I completely agree.
We're going to get murdered in here, probably.
Oh well, that's all good. I will just turn us down in general, and hopefully I can fix that in post, but
Look,
that is annoying.
If the virus doesn't get us, it's the AI that will.
Absolutely. It is, Ben, the day after Watanagashi.
Yay! I'm ready for this.
And that means
shiz.
everyone is alive and healthy, having recovered from their alcoholism at the festival.
Well, yeah, everything's fine. Well, only one person died yesterday. So
that's right.
That's different.
That's a positive change.
And that person who died the day before, apparently, whoever that lady was, who subbed in for Takano's body.
Yes.
So whoever that was, I'm sure they don't matter at all.
Mm-hmm. Whose dental records match for reasons that the story will probably never explain.
I don't think so, no.
And I don't think it really needs to, but I'm just going to keep complaining because this is a mess.
It's fine. It's a beautiful mess, and that's Higurashi. The day after Watanagashi, Oishi showed up at our school. It isn't uncommon for Oishi to show up here today. Interestingly, he always asks to see the most key person in that world. The most important, beautiful person who could ever live. He asks for Keiichi in the world where he gets sick. He asks for Rena in the world where she gets sick. In this world, he asks for me, which means that I'm the most important person.
We're just not going to cover who he asks for in any other worlds.
Nobody. Doesn't matter. I don't actually remember. Who does he ask for in Watanagashi?
He doesn't show up.
He doesn't show up? Oh my god, you're right. He just doesn't show up. It's crazy. Did Tomotaki Flash really die? Yeah, the way he went was pretty strange too. I'm not sure you could understand it all, but like he was on drugs and hallucinating and swinging a big old 2x4 around. He clawed at his own throat until he died. I couldn't prevent it. There's nothing I can do now. I knew this was going to happen. I'm sure Takano is dead too. And Takano? I have bad news about her too. Once again, you'll be surprised. She was found burned to death in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. Based on the condition of the body, she was choked to death before her body was burned. It is a very tragic story no matter how you look at it. I know what you're thinking. You think I know something about what happened to them. Oh, heavens, no. I only have one single little itty bitty question. Who would talk about such a disturbing plan at the festival where anyone could hear? You think I'm involved in this murder? Well, I wanted to suspect you, but I don't. I can't. You know, if you were responsible in some way, you wouldn't have given me the hints that you did. At the very least, I'm sure you're not involved with the people who killed them. Probably don't even know them. I'm glad you're not suspicious of me. Oishi threw a 10-yen coin into the offering box and shook the bell in prayer. Please let us solve the mystery of Inamizawa this year. Are you trying to get me involved in your investigation? Nah, I was just talking to Yoshiro-sama. Oishi is well aware that people call me the reincarnation of Oishiro-sama. That must have been his attempt at a joke. I'd like to see the curse disappear forever too. Oh, that means we both want the same thing, yes? I made a prediction about where you might find Tomotaki Flash's body. Didn't you have a police cruiser nearby? Yes, I listened to your prediction and had the cruiser patrol the area. The place where the concrete and gravel roads meet, it's on the very border of the village. It gets dark there at night. It always seems like if something bad would happen, it would happen there. So, where did you find Tomotaki Flash's body? We found him dead by the rice fields near Okonogi. That's not where his body is usually found. If he was fated to hallucinate and die, he would die in exactly the same spot, whether the cruiser was there or not. Just because the cruiser was placed there, Tomotaki Flash's body was found in a totally different spot. In other words, the existence of the police cruiser disrupted that fate. Anyway, there's something else that I found very interesting. I told the officers in the police cruiser to check every vehicle that passed by. As it turns out, one of the cars that headed toward Okinogi after the festival was over was Takano's. Takano lives in Okinogi. It wouldn't be strange for her to head back home after the festival. However, she was the only one inside the car. Tomotaki Flash wasn't with her. Tomotaki Flash always comes to Hinamizawa on his bike. Then she could have loaded his bike in the trunk and given him a ride, but he was not with her. However, his body was found among the rice fields near Okonogi past the point where the police cruiser was patrolling in Hinamizawa. What are you saying? Oh, there's no way he could have biked through the dark woods to avoid the cruiser there. He somehow took the road without being noticed by us. Fude-san, can you tell me what you know about the relationship between Tomotaki Flash and Takano? They're dating. That's all I know. I find it hard to believe that Takano would drive back home alone in the dark without her boyfriend. What if she had Tomotaki Flash in her trunk and she was planning to dump his body in the woods, but because the cruiser was in that area, she had no choice but to pass by and dump him on this side of the road. Both Tomotaki Flash and Takano were sent here from Tokyo. I have no idea what their real identities are. I can't say that Takano had no reason to kill Tomotaki Flash. However, I've never considered that possibility before in my life. Takano killing Tomotaki Flash, but why? I can't think of any reason. Nothing comes to mind, and it's hard to imagine Takano was cornered to the point that she had to kill him. In fact, it was more plausible to think that she was enraged when the lovesick Tomotaki Flash acted cold towards her and she strangled his neck. I never really thought they suited each other. Nah, I don't want to insult Tomotaki Flash-kun, but I thought Takano's-san was way too smart for him. Like she was tricking and controlling him or something.
What?
Have you heard of any rumors that she was trying to use him for anything? None, but I can ask around. I have many eyes. I'll let you know if I find out something. Thank you very much. I'm just glad that the reincarnation of Oishi-sama is on my side. But even the reincarnation of Oishi-sama couldn't solve this mystery for over 100 years. But you said Takano was killed too. How could she be the culprit? Well, it's because you leaked me that information. I mean, the prophecy. Without that, I'm sure I would have just believed that both Takano and Tomotaki Flash were the victims of the fifth year's curse of Oishi-sama. I feel like it's different this time. Maybe as though there's someone trying to make the curse of Oishi-sama happen. So you really think that Takano-san is the culprit? Basically, this is what Oishi is trying to say. They're not both victims. The culprit is also pretending to be a victim. This is really hard for me to believe. I can't think of any reason why Takano would do something like this. And there were no signs or foreshadowing anywhere. Oishi only feels the way he does because he doesn't know her as well as I do. For another thing, how can he explain that Takano's body was found? Didn't the police in Gifu Prefecture identify the body? For a child corpse, the easiest way to identify them is by their dental records, although, according to the old man in forensics, they're still not 100% certain. And besides, there is a contradiction with the estimated time of death. It just doesn't make sense. What do you mean? Well, the test results show that she was dead on the night before the festival. Apparently, they inspected the contents of her stomach and such, the goopy bits, but at the time of testing there, they had information about Takano. They knew that she was at the festival that night and realized that the test results didn't match up. So, they just dumped the results and decided to take the dental records along. These things do happen every once in a while. However, if Takano really is culprit, his body might belong to somebody else. Is it possible to do something like that? When the body is burnt, dental records are the only way to identify it. This might sound too much like a mystery novel, but... Got him! What if, for example, someone faked Mio Takano's dental records? If they were skillfully forged, we could have the wrong ID. Anyway, the Gifu Police Department has made up their mind that the body belongs to Takano. Within police departments, we sometimes have issues with false test results. That's how most false charges are made. It feels to me like this is one of those times. So you think that Takano's alive and in some kind of mobile command center? Since last night, both Mio Takano and her car have gone missing. If that body found in Gifu isn't Takano, this is going to be very interesting indeed. Wipe to dusk. Wipe to clinic, I guess. Irie had already heard about the deaths of Tomitaki Flash and Takano. You know, once he died, I thought we wouldn't have to have me saying Tomitaki so many times and saying
Too
Flash
bad,
again.
sucker!
But I guess it's just happening. I guess I'm just going to have to ruin the mood every time by saying Flash. But we know you love it.
I do.
I know you do. It seemed like both the clinic and the office in Tokyo had flown into a panic over it. It's funny how they make... I'm still in Rika mode. This is bad. It's funny how they make such a big fuss about their own people when they don't care about what happens to the other people's lives if it would get in the way of their research. Takano's subordinate, Okonogi, was in the room. Okonogi is the leader of the Mountain Dogs. I came here to make sure he's still willing to protect me. It is Rika! Based on past experience, they tend to lose interest in protecting me after Takano dies. Okonogi, Takano is dead, but am I still safe? Don't worry, Rika-san. We'll still keep up the tight security around you. You don't have to call the police or anything, you know? I guess this is part of that tight security. They must have been listening to my conversation with Oishi. Oishi told me something. Is it true that Takano isn't really dead? That can't be true. The Gifu Police Department made an official announcement that Oishi is retiring this year, isn't he? Sometimes he makes up stories because he's desperate to solve the curse for Shusama. You shouldn't pay attention to anything he says. Well, he's not wrong. This year is Oishi's last chance. Because he's so desperate, he's developed a bad habit of listening to every rumor that he hears. What's your opinion about this, Okonogi? Right now they're still investigating, so I can't say anything. Knowing the relationship between those two, I think it's clear this was done by someone within the organization. I glanced over at Irie as I listened to Okonogi speak. It seemed that whoever he was talking to over the phone was accusing him of killing them. Irie was frantically trying to prove his innocence. Soon enough, he hung up the phone. Irie looked upset that he was under suspicion after working so hard for the organization. Oh, Ika-chan, I'm sorry for making you wait. It seems like you're in big trouble. Just as you heard, it sounds like there's some big conspiracy behind their deaths. People in Tokyo think that I'm the one who's pulling the strings. Good grief, I have a lot of questions as to how they figure that. I rarely ever saw Irie get so emotional. He must be feeling as though all his effort is being repaid with injustice. However, it's a fact that Irie was trying to fight against the budget cuts and downsizing his research team. Tokyo is thinking that could be his motive for killing them. In any case, everyone in the organization is suspicious. I understand how scared you must feel. The people who attacked Takano-san and Tomitaki-san could be after you too. The people in Tokyo are also concerned about this. We got their order to tighten up your security. Don't worry. I'm very relieved to hear that. This was the first time the Mountain Dogs had ever tightened up my security. They usually become so busy keeping tabs on Irie after Tomitaki Flash and Takano's deaths that they end up ignoring me. Even though they're dead, I am still in a pretty favorable situation, where nothing could go wrong. So, do you have any idea who killed them? People in Tokyo are investigating that now. Based on the situation, it's clear this was done by someone within the organization. I guess I'm the prime suspect. You're the only one who could kill Tomitaki Flash like that. That's not true. The people in Tokyo are discussing the possibility of H17C being used, but that drug was destroyed when the research was cancelled. It's impossible. However, they have no choice but to suspect you in this case. Mr. Tomitaki Flash even took a vaccine before he came here, but he still got infected. It must be just an extremely unlikely coincidence. Anyway, it's just impossible. Irie is usually a very calm person, but once the people in Tokyo start suspecting him, he often loses his mind. Do you think that Takano might be the culprit? She's someone within the organization? Takano-san? No way. Surely not. But as he spoke, Irie also started to realize that everything could be explained if Takano was the culprit. But I don't know how to persuade him that it's the truth. More than anything, people want to hear a motive. Not who did something, but why. Knowing that probably isn't as important as it sounds. After all, you never know the motive unless the suspect talks. Guessing about the motive is just a waste of time. In other words, it's stupid to assume that Takano isn't the culprit. That's because I don't know what her motive is.
I love it. He's starting to do mystery meta commentary.
It's good stuff. Yeah, surely this is Okinogi talking.
Also, I find the entire pretense of this arc to be like a bit weird. This section rather to be a bit weird. It's like, oh yes, I've been through hundreds and hundreds of years, and the people with the power to actually do something couldn't have possibly been responsible.
They've been protecting me this whole time. And they've never protected me successfully. That's so weird.
It's like, who the fuck was Rika suspecting if it wasn't the only people with the capacity to do the actions that set the whole thing off?
Maybe. I mean, it's probably best to argue that the reason why Rika hasn't figured anything out, I mean, it's because of her horrible, crippling depression, right? Like, that's the thing. It's not because she's an idiot. At the start, she wouldn't
have necessarily, like, had the same problem, because it seems a lot of her depression is motivated by the cycle.
Sure.
And sure, you could argue the case that she was young and didn't really understand things in, like, the first few loops.
Sure.
But it, like, you have to accept it because it's the pretense of it, and I can't really argue against it. It's just, like, I wish they would have backed it up somehow. Maybe.
I think out of all the things you've taken issue with, that's the one that I have the least, like, I agree with the least, I think. I think that it's fine. Like, because, like, none of us can really replicate what it would be like to go through a real actual time loop because it's impossible. But
yeah, no, as I said, you have to accept it because it's the pretense. And I don't I'm not saying that this is like ruining it for me. I just wish that it was like actually reinforced rather than just,
I guess so.
You know, letting us sit here and accept it. And it would have been a good opportunity to reinforce it by having Takano be less of an absolute B-movie villain.
Maybe. I mean, I see that particular aspect more backed up by what we see Rika actually doing in the arcs.
Yeah.
Because either she's doing nothing because she's horribly depressed, or she's trying to stop her friends from going mad. It's the thing, right? This is the first time that she's actually had a moment where, like, one of her friends isn't about to go murder someone after the Okonogi festival. This is the first time she's actually had a moment to question the broader picture properly. Because she's not like, how do I stop Renna from blowing up the school? How do I stop Keiichi from killing Teppei or everybody else? Like, this is the first arc where immediately after the Okonogi festival, she hasn't been trying to figure out how to save her friends. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like, that's a fine criticism to have. I don't think I agree with it so much, but it's fine. I really wish they just had an Okinogi sprite.
This has got to be Okinogi because he says San, right?
I agree. But I wish it'd be cool if they had an Okinogi sprite in this game. That's all I'm saying. Rika-san, you can't say something like that without any proof. She was very nice to you. How can you suspect her after all that? Upon hearing me be ungrateful towards his boss, Okinogi flashed me an unpleasant smile like a shark. It's true that Takano was very nice to me. It might be disrespectful of me to suspect her. However, I still can't trust her completely yet. Perhaps I've developed the same bad habit as Oishi. Am I believing every crazy theory I hear, just because I'm desperate to escape from my fate? In any case, something bad is going on around here. We all need to be very careful. Don't worry, we've received an order to tighten up Zero security too.
Like a nurse.
We'll be nice and close. Irie smiled bitterly. For him, their protection wouldn't be too different from stalking. Rika-san, make sure you don't give up too much information to the police. I think you understand, but you could create a problem if you talk to them about our secrets, you know? He was implying that he'd have to kill anyone I talked to. This isn't the first time they've warned me about this. It's just, what if Takano really is the culprit? If she is, and Okinogi is almost certainly involved too, then it makes sense that he wouldn't want me to suspect Takano. But that would be horrifying. If Takano was my enemy, then the mountain dogs were too. This whole clinic is a lion's den. Irie is just a researcher, so he probably wouldn't know what's really going on. The more I thought about it, the more confused I got. Why would Takano do something like this? I thought I just convinced myself that the motive shouldn't even matter, but I can't stop thinking about it. Is Takano really behind it all? Am I going as crazy as Oishi just because of how badly I want to solve this mystery? Perhaps. The mountain dogs are more like wolves looking after a flock of sheep. I do wonder if you'd flipped these sections, if you'd had, like, the day after the Lord Nagashi, oh no, Takano and Tomodachi still died.
Flashback?
Yeah.
Maybe.
just so we have this, because this scene doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, it's showing Rika's thought process, but definitely lose a lot of that impact if we already know for certain that Takano is the culprit.
At
right?
the same time, though, I feel like the sustainable tension in this scene is coming from you being like, oh god, Okonogi's right there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wonder if maybe a shorter scene, like, look, I'm just going to play right for a second. What if you had the Takano Tomotaki, so it's like, I'm totally going to do terrible things to you. And then she opens the door, we see the overall men, we cut to black, we continue with this scene, and then we flash back to that moment later. Just thought, that could be fun.
You'd have to
just so we don't have such...
Yeah, you'd have to restructure a lot of other things previous to this.
Sure.
So that would feel like it would fit.
I'm just saying, I think that cutting to black in that moment would have been really fantastic.
No, totally.
And it also would preserve this scene's tension a little bit better while still being like, yeah, Takano's the culprit, but we're not going to tell you the full extent until after Rika, like, figures it out. Anyway, that's just my thoughts, right, for the moment.
Yeah.
Come back to it in the recap. I've lived for over 100 years. I never once found out who killed me, and I stayed close to the Erie Institute so that they'd protect me. What if that was my big mistake all along? Well, I'm sure that Erie has no bad intentions. In many lives, I get to see just how genuine his feelings are. I can trust him. However, he's not really reliable. Okinogi glanced over at me. He smiled and told me not to worry, but I noticed an evil glint in his eyes, because apparently I can determine what an evil glint looks like. Like daggers, maybe. It's possible that I have Inawizawa syndrome, and that was just a hallucination. I don't understand anything. I don't even know who my enemies are anymore. There's no point in thinking about this any longer. I have to only trust who I know I can trust for sure. There are only a few of those people, though. Irie, Oishi, and my friends. If Okonogi is on Takano's side, he'll be watching me very closely. If I started accusing Takano of anything, who knows what they'd do to me? When this world first began, I thought I had no time left, but that wasn't true. The number of things that happened in just 2 weeks was immense. I probably only have a few more days left until the day of my death. What can I do? How can I change this? Am I supposed to just take Hanyu's advice and resign this time? Now we're outside. Doing something with the birds. Oh, wipe again. School!
Good old birds.
Yeah, it's time for friendship. Let's cheer when we need her.
Yeah. She's been missing since the night of Watanagashi.
Could it be the curse of Oishi-sama? Could it?
It's freaky that this has happened 5 years in a row now. 5 years in row.
5 years in a row. Inawizawa is a small village. It was spread fast here. Besides, she's Mion Sonozaki. She would have found out about this yesterday even if the police were trying to hide it. My friends were all talking about the mysterious death of Tomotaki Flash and the disappearance of Takano. People in this village are very superstitious. No matter what happens, they conclude that everything is the curse of Oishi-sama. The past incidents don't matter to me either way. All I'm interested in is the current one. The culprit of this case will probably kill me too. 2 days have passed since Watanagashi. Today is Tuesday, June 21st, 1983. At the earliest, I'll get killed on the night of the 22nd. That is, tomorrow night. The day of my death is always different. I always end up getting killed, but the day when it happens varies. I guess the culprit has their own reasons for that. There's only one thing I'm sure about. Based on my experiences, I'll live for sure until tomorrow night. After then, I'll have to live with the fear of getting murdered at any moment. Still, there's no real reason to be afraid. When I wake up, I'll be in a brand new world again. I can never remember how I'm killed. Which is what she was alluding to in the 4th chapter. She's like, I get something in my mouth, and then I can't remember anything. That's why I'm not that afraid of the killing itself. I'm just frustrated that my life is about repeating the same things over and over, like a broken record. However, at present, I'm frustrated. My classmates just expected their peaceful days will continue forever. But I couldn't feel that way. I feel frustrated and full of sorrow, as I really don't want to die. Oh, it's tomorrow night. Are you ready, Rika? How foolish of you to even ask. What makes it look like I am? Hanyu was trying to warn me that I might get killed tomorrow night, as though she already knew it was going to happen for sure. Oh, you worked so hard, Rika. This last one in Higurashi was the best festival I've ever had. Did you feel that way too? It was fun. It really was fun. Satiko had band-aids all over her face, but everyone was there together and we kicked up a storm. I want this world to continue forever. I can't accept that this world is going to end tomorrow at the earliest and within 1 or 2 weeks at the latest. I am sure your next life will be just as fun. So this world is over and done with. This is such a happy world, but it's just going to end like that. All of my friends are alive and happy. Keiichi doesn't feel alone, and Rena's family is happy too. Mion and Shion are getting along, as well as Shion and Satiko. The issue of Satiko's uncle is resolved, and she's no longer treated coldly by the other villagers. This is the best world I've ever experienced. This world is going to end. Rika, you think of yourself as a normal person too often when we're both special beings. Every child wants their birthday party to continue forever, but the party always ends. That's why children always wish their enjoyable moments to continue for all time. But that doesn't mean that they'll grieve over a party that's ended. Once they sleep, another day will come for them. Something wonderful will happen again. No one disappears like Cinderella once the party is over. What a way for you to describe my view on life. You're like a child that's crying because she doesn't want to leave the party. But there's no need to feel that sad, is there? There'll be another party again soon. You still hate to go through another death, but it's only like sleeping for a while, isn't it? Hanyu, don't you want to see what lies beyond June of 1983? I would be lying if I said I didn't. But
I just wanted to say that the writers clearly did this line break on purpose.
It's great. I would be lying if I said I didn't, but I'm more concerned about you being consumed by that thought and getting hurt because of it. You just don't understand. Without you, I'd have to live for such a long time without anyone to talk to, and I'll only be able to stare at the festival without being a part of it. No one will ever be able to see me. No one will be able to hear me or talk to me either. Do you have any idea how miserable and lonely that will be? But I finally found you, Rika. I can't survive without you anymore, but I can't just die like you can either. I have to live alone until the end of time. To be alone until someone like you shows up again. I don't want that. I can't stand the thought of it. Hanyu. Rika, please. Take back that heartbreaking promise you made. I don't want you to give up if this world doesn't work out for you. Hanyu, you're being really fucking selfish right now. I'm sorry, I'll have to think about it for a while. I want to do what I can until the end. When that happens, I can decide what to do. If I think there's still some hope, I can go on living. But if I feel desperate enough, I can just give up. It might not ultimately be a bad thing to repeat June of 1983 over and over. Perhaps I might be blessed with another fortunate life someday. Hanyu nodded with a little satisfaction after hearing that, sensing that my feelings were starting to lean the way she wanted them. Damn it, Hanyu.
What's up, Ren? Are you planning to take Rika-chan home with you?
Hey, Keiichi-kun, don't you think that Rika-chan seems to be feeling a little bit down?
I don't know. She might still be tired from doing the dedication dance at the festival.
Just being overwhelmed by despair again.
Rika-chan was sitting all by herself, wearing a sad expression. I'd said she might still be tired from the festival, but that wasn't really how it looked.
Satiko-chan is free now, so I thought she'd have a spring in her step, but she's been acting weird since yesterday. I wonder if something's going on.
Satiko's issues are all settled down now. Shouldn't be anything that's troubling her anymore. We thought Satiko and Rika-chan might not be able to live together if they found a new guardian for Satiko, but that problem is almost solved. Either the Sanozaki family or the Kimiyoshi family will become her guardian. Mayor Kimiyoshi is already Rika's guardian.
Nice.
If the Sanozaki family gets custody, Satiko will officially become Shion's little sister. Anyway, I had no idea why Rika-chan was acting so upset.
That's a funny little detail.
I think we should ask her what's going on.
But I don't want her to think that we're insensitive. But I guess you can ask her, I guess.
Fucking get wrecked, Keiichi.
I don't want to ask her. That's not my place to do that shit.
So you're saying it's okay for me to be insensitive? Rena laughed and stuck her tongue out at me. I walk up to Rika-chan and struck up a conversation. Perhaps something is still troubling Satiko and we just don't know about it. If that's the case, we needed to help her. You don't look so good. Is anything weird going on?
I mean, just a little bit? Oh, Keiichi.
Rika-chan had been daydreaming, and it took her a while to realize that I was talking to her.
Oh, do I look upset or something?
Kind of. Is anything the matter? It took her a while to answer. Such a long silence had to mean yes.
Keiichi, there's a poem that I want you to listen to. Don't ask me who wrote it. I just want you to know what you think.
All right, let me hear it then. Rika-chan closed her eyes and recited a short poem. It went something like this.
Here we go. Everyone has the right to be happy, yet it's so hard to receive. Everyone has the right to be happy, yet it's so hard to fulfill. I have the right to be happy, yet it's hard to compromise.
That's a pretty interesting poem. Did you write it? I'm not supposed to ask that, huh?
No, you're not. What did you think after hearing it?
Everyone has the right to be happy, yet it's so hard to receive. I understand that. Everyone does have the right to be happy. But that doesn't mean that everyone can receive that happiness. Everyone has the right to be happy, and it's so hard to fulfill. This one is a little harder to understand, but exercising that right probably refers to the process of finding happiness. Everyone has the right to work hard for their happiness, but it's not that easy for that work to bear fruit. I have the right to be happy, yet it's so hard to compromise. I guess she's trying to talk about compromising your happiness. There's no limit to human desires. You can never stop wanting more. That's why people need to make compromises on their happiness. At least that's how I understand it. If she was trying to say that we should be satisfied with what we have, it sounded like a positive statement, but there's also a negative tone to the way it's presented. I think this poem is reflecting the feelings of the writer.
That is what poems do.
Unlike most poetry.
God damn it, Ryukishi. I think so too, so what else did you think?
She wouldn't admit it, but I'm sure Rika-chan is the one who made that poem, and it's reflecting on how she's feeling. I'm not that smart, but even I can understand that. I thought it was a sad poem.
Sad?
I understand the first two lines. Everyone has a right to be happy, but not everyone can become happy that easily. I think those lines are describing the difficult parts of our lives, but the last line is different. Making compromises is the same as giving up. The writer of this poem has given up on their happiness, compromised with reality, and trying to convince themselves they're happy.
Just what Hanyu's trying to do. Trying to convince themselves they're happy, you say?
With plenty of regrets, too. Everyone can become happy with enough effort, but she thinks that she can't. The problem reflects her hopelessness. It's very sad.
Then, Keiichi, what do you think she should do?
She shouldn't give up.
Shouldn't give up?
The writer of this poem already knows how she can be happy. It's something she deserves. She's been thinking about how to become happy for a long time. If she really wants to be happy, she shouldn't give up. Remember, we overcame a desperate situation in only a few days. If we all work together, we can make a miracle happen. You saw it with your own eyes, didn't you? What's troubling you? Talk to me.
There's something I want to talk with all of you about, but if I do that, you won't be able to live in this village anymore. Happiness for me would be to see what's beyond June of 1983 together with all of you. It wouldn't mean anything if I lived beyond this June without you.
We won't be able to live in Hinamizawa anymore. Why is that?
They'll kill you if they find out that I talked to you. That's why I can't say anything.
What do you mean they'll kill us? Are you being threatened by someone? The word kill is not something that's used by people casually. I was shocked to hear it coming from her mouth. That's why I couldn't help but raise my voice.
I don't know who's the enemy and who's not. The only thing I know for sure is that someone is going to kill me.
Wait, Rika-chan, talk to me. What the hell is going on? Is Teppei threatening her? No, that isn't possible. The police arrested him, and besides that, the Sanozaki family told him to never come back to the village. There's no way he could contact Rika-chan in order to threaten her. And even if that somehow was the case, Rika-chan could just talk to Mion and everything would be taken care of. But based on her expression, it seems like this is way deeper than that.
I'm sorry. If I talk, you'll be dragged into this. If I lose you, I have no more reason to survive. I just can't talk to you about this. I'm not going to compromise my happiness.
I don't understand what you're trying to say, but you just sound like Satiko did a few days ago.
Damn. Like Satiko.
Yeah. You're thinking it's better to be patient. Forgot the courage needed to fight. You sounded like that. Weren't you the one who told Satiko to be brave over the phone?
Were you talking to yourself in that scene, maybe?
My words clearly hurt Rika-chan's feelings. She bit her lip and went quiet for a moment.
If I talk to you, you might get killed too.
Well, I don't want that. But if we don't do anything, you're going to get killed, right? We don't want a future without you either, Rika-chan.
What?
You may not want to get us involved, but likewise, we don't want to lose you either. We welcome the struggle. Besides, you know how powerful we can be together. I'm sure we can solve anything if we all work as one.
What a line. We welcome the struggle. All right. Fair enough, Keiichi.
Fair enough, Keiichi.
Fair enough, Keiichi. Now let us continue to talk about fate like paper. Not even our combined strength can solve this problem.
You don't want to talk to us because you don't want to drag us into it, right? So what you're saying is that you want to die without telling us anything. Dots.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Don't think that being patient is the same as being brave. Remember the courage to fight. You can talk to me anytime once you organize your feelings. You can count on us.
Thank you.
Rika-chan was wearing a sorrowful smile. I could tell that she appreciated my sympathy. I don't know why, but Rika-chan is troubled by something. It's a matter of life and death for her. She can't even talk to us about it. At the very least, she won't talk to me.
How was it, Keiichi-kun?
Is Rika-chan troubled by something? It doesn't happen very often.
Satiko, this is going to sound strange, but is there any chance someone is threatening Rika-chan's life?
Oh.
What? What in the world are you saying, Kichi-san?
Rika-shima is the village mascot. People worship her. No one would ever try to kill her. What's this? What are you guys talking about?
The more I talked to my friends, the stranger it seemed that someone would try to kill Rika-chan. Everyone was even more confused than I felt. Rika-chan didn't talk to me about what's troubling her, but I'm sure there's something very serious going on with her. If she really trusts us, I'm sure she'll talk to us soon. Let's believe everything she tells us if she opens her heart, okay? We all looked at each other and nodded. Satiko winked for some reason.
Yeah, that was a good, in-sync stoic face, except for Satiko.
I know.
Everyone was on the same page. I love it.
Oh
Okay,
my
so
goodness.
chapter. Have we been in this one very long?
No, this has only
No.
been about 40 minutes.
I'll get tips
But
though.
we've got tips.
Another discolored notebook.
My favorite.
Yay, I love tips.
Number 3-4.
Number 3-4.
Why? Why is that the achievement we've gotten here?
Shh. Let's read the notebook.
Okay.
I think you might be tired of the notebook.
Okay, but then why not give it to us at the end of the notebook?
I know, dude. The Son of God promised that he would be resurrected within 3 days. Sinful men guarded his grave to make sure he would not wake up, but that was foolish of them. He meant that his spirit and his lessons would be resurrected, not his physical shell. Do not be afraid of physical death. If you achieve great things, you will live again. You will surpass death and become immortal. A demon took the Son of God to a cliff and told him to jump off. He claimed that if he was really a son of God, a miracle would help him survive. He tried to challenge the Lord, and the Lord challenges humans, but humans may not challenge the Lord. The challenge is to suspect. Suspicion will speak words of evil into your ears, and it will make you falter. Do not doubt your own achievements. Do not doubt your own life. Do not doubt your contributions. Do not let others criticize your achievements. That is the same as doubting your own life. Ifumiti.
Wow, what a swell guy.
Hallelujah! Praise the Lord! So I imagine he speaks.
Yeah, that is the voice you gave him.
There we go.
Oh
We did it.
boy. I
Any
don't know whether
thoughts
we
on that
talk for
chapter?
20 minutes now or we keep going. I guess we keep going.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Heck
dude.
it.
I'm into it.
Heck it.
Unless you have some great monologue for us.
I
right
have
now.
many great monologues, but
Oh, okay.
the more aggression I feel
Shakespeare, maybe?
building up inside me,
You just get an aggression?
yeah,
Damn.
rage and
This
fury
is it.
at
This
the
is
number
the arc
34.
that breaks you. This is your Meikashi.
That's right. I won't survive
You know,
to go on
Yeah,
to
because
next arc.
you know how much I hated Meikashi. This is your equivalent of that.
Exactly.
You're just gonna hate this arc objectively. When I woke up, the first things I saw was Satiko and
the calendar.
The first one to wake up is supposed to tear yesterday's date off the calendar.
Sounds like a lame calendar.
No, what do you mean? It's a cool. You used to get that satisfying ripping sound as you
Ugh.
tear it, out, but you can't reuse it.
So
That's
wasteful.
the only problem. You can't reuse the calendar. You only need to use it once. Sometimes we both tear out the calendar by mistake, so the date ends up 2 days ahead. Satiko likes to tear the calendar, and that makes her wake up very early in the morning. That would usually make me smile, but I felt devastated as soon as I saw the 22 on the calendar. It's going to happen today, June 22nd. The day that I die.
Is that true? I thought she said that it was no earlier than today.
Yeah, she said it could happen today or in the next couple of weeks, but she seems convinced it's going to happen today. Da-dun-dun.
Quizzical.
I love this piano. Oh, it's beautiful. Shout out to Dai, the best character. Good morning.
Good morning, Rika.
Morning, you two.
You too? Are you still asleep?
Me. There's someone else living in this house other than you and I. I just said good morning to that person as well.
Hey, do not try and spook me like that.
Do not try. Do not attempt it. Oh, Satiko won't be able to sleep without holding your hand tonight, Rika. Sometimes I feel like Satiko can see Hanyu, and it's as if the three of us are living together. That would be a lot of fun. It was time to go to school, but my body felt heavy. Today, I was going to die. Knowing that, I didn't even feel like going to school. The more I've repeated the same life, the more precisely I can detect my day of death. I always die on the day I feel this way. There you go.
Rika, we ought to get going soon.
I'm taking the day off today.
No, the fuck you're not.
I gotta
Rika,
say hi,
I heard from Keiichi-san. Are you troubled by something?
I'm troubled. I have many troubles. Swells wine glass. Oh, kind of, but not really.
Where do I begin?
Let me tell you. Start from the beginning. What else is there left to do? Today is the day. It's too late now, but part of me still feels like doing something. I've been in this world only a few days. My emotions went up and down like a roller coaster, like in those novels that Higurashi writes.
Mm-hmm.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him. Got him. Sometimes I felt motivated to fight, and other times I felt desperate and gave up. Even though Keiichi and everyone else showed me such strength, I lacked the iron will to fight against my fate. The most confidence I ever felt was when the dice roll came up 6, a fortunate coincidence that was just handed to me. I was hoping to gain the courage to fight against my fate, but here I am today, conceding to destiny. Keiichi told me that we could make a miracle happen if we worked together, but there was something he didn't teach me. He didn't teach me how to believe in that. If I don't believe that I can make a miracle happen, I won't be able to make even a crack in the wall of fate. It seems so simple, yet it's so difficult. I couldn't even decide whether I should be on the stage or stay off it and remain as a spectator. I told Hanyu that I haven't decided what to do after this world is over, but that's the spectator's point of view. For the people on the stage, this world is the only one. For them, the end of the world means the end of their lives. That's why they do anything to change their fate. That's why they can make a miracle happen. I never worked hard enough because I always knew that I could reset my life. I thought I was just one pathetic girl who couldn't change her own fate. That's why I ended up here again today. It's as if I slacked off on my summer homework and woke up on the last day of vacation with nothing completed.
Wow, it's just all an elaborate metaphor for that.
God, it's...
Story ends, Rika's on her beachside vacation with her homework not done.
Yeah.
Like, oh no!
You should just go watch The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. I hear that's a good anime that would help her with that particular problem. What should I do? Should I not work on my assignment, knowing that I'm not going to make it on time anyway? Or should I do whatever I can, even though I may still get in big trouble? Perhaps a miracle will happen. Perhaps the homework will be done overnight. Miracles don't happen to homework. I had to do the homework on my own. This metaphor is falling apart. Without effort, nothing will ever get done. Without effort, not even one question will be solved. Oh, Rika, I think you should spend your day doing what you want to. You can drink by the window all day, just the way you like doing.
Wow, remember when Hanyu was trying to discourage drinking?
It's great. Watching Hanyu's, here's the thing, I'm not a huge fan of Hanyu, but watching her go from like, oh, like this is the worst, gosh, what a silly character I am, to like, you should just drink the day away. That seems like a reasonable course of action.
Yeah.
Like, there's kind of a villainous undertone to Hanyu.
Yeah, as I've said a few points, she seems like just
Yeah.
Rika's subconscious, but
Yeah.
like just the dark parts of it.
She's very much like Rika's despair embodied.
Yeah.
The like innocent part that's like, I don't know if I can do this. She just like keeps reinforcing Rika's mindset. It's great.
Totally.
You're suggesting that I shouldn't do anything since I know I'll get in trouble anyway. For Hanyu, it's not about the homework, it's more about the vacation itself. The vacation will be over no matter how much I want to continue. In her eyes, it's pathetic for me to make a big deal out of not completing my homework and contemplating whether I should still work on it or not. On top of that, I'm saying that I might as well die if my vacation is going to be over. If I was in her situation, I'd be laughing hysterically. Keiichi told me to seek everyone's help in order to finish my homework, but I'm not taking that offer, not only because I don't want to cause them trouble, but also because I don't want the teacher to know that I got help from them. If I was going to have regrets, I should have worked on it from the beginning. If I had no intention of working on it, I should have just relaxed without stressing so much. If I didn't care what other people thought, I should have asked for their help in the first place. I will say, I have literally had that exact mindset so many times. I remember high school, like literally getting to the night before an exam, and this happened very, very, very frequently. This wasn't just like once, this is like every exam.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I have not studied for this at all. And it was because I was stressing about it beforehand. So like, you know, you start with 3 weeks, so like, I got plenty of time. And then I guess 2 weeks before you say, well, I didn't study during the first week, so what's the point in studying the second week? And then you get to the final week and you say, well, what's the point of doing it now if I haven't used this time before? And then it's just a horrible self-defeating cycle.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very universal experience. It's more how you like respond to it that is very unique to people. Like there are very, very few people I know, even like high achievers in the years that I've been at school, that you know actually had a proper work ethic. Most of it was just like how they dealt with the stress of them being lazy.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of interesting that like that's where people tend to differentiate rather than there actually being people who, you know, I'm sure there is a small minority of them, but like there's, you know, this like lack of people who will actually step up and get the work done from the get-go.
Yeah.
But we all still make it out.
Yeah. It's funny, because I was saying, and I've actually mentioned this on the show before, but it was during one of these, you know, I haven't studied at all. It's the night before the exams. It's 12 o'clock and I should get started, as in 12 a.m. I was trying to cram in a whole bunch of study for, I think it was a chemistry exam for our like mock exams that we had in year 11 or whatever. But it was on one of those nights that I messaged my friend like, hey, I'm really stressed for these exams. Do you recommend some music? And that's the music that she sent to me. I followed some links and that's eventually how I found the Higurashi music box track that I love so much. So it's funny.
I was about to bring up a personal anecdote as well, but I mean, it doesn't tie back nearly as well. So
that like this is lit like this.
I've just been one-upped.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, but like
I'm meant to be the protagonist here. You're meant to be the Hanyu.
Not right now, my friend. But yeah, like literally this entire conversation being had here was like exactly what I needed to hear going into my final exams, which is why even if I have problems with Hanyu that we'll talk about more later, even if there's some clunky stuff going on here, I love this shit. Higurashi is my girl. Let's go. There are 3 options I talked about with Hanyu yesterday. I didn't choose any of them. I've been living for over 100 years, but I still can't decide. My 100 years were wasted. Satiko, I'm not going to school today because, I have a cold.
Is that so? Do you want me to take your temperature?
I need to rest today. Could you tell Cheer that I'm not coming because I'm very sick?
Rika, are you really sick? Kichi-san told me you're worried someone is trying to kill you. I'm very concerned, you realize?
Thank you. You should go now. You'll be late. Satiko looked at the clock, then looked back at me again.
I'm very happy right now.
Aw.
I'm happy that I'm back with everyone and that I'm living with you again. So, if I lose you, I'll be living in a very sad world. Just think about that.
The world without me.
Yeah, the world without you.
Aw.
It'll be a very sad world.
Precious Satiko. I've never thought about that. I thought that the world ended when I died. I'd never thought about the world after my death. That was never my concern.
So please take care of yourself. It isn't just me. If anything happens to you, everyone will be sad.
Satiko.
Rika, I'll leave you alone for today, but please talk to me if you have something on your mind. It's kind of upsetting how you won't talk to me.
Satiko seemed like she wanted to say more, but she looked at the floor instead. I know what she's trying to say. I realized how selfishly I've been living. It was wrong for me to look at this world as a stage play, but it's too late. It's too late now. Satiko left the house in a hurry. Hanyu and I were left alone inside the house. I can tell you want to be alone. I'll disappear until you call for me. Well, thank you. You're still yourself, even after 100 years. Oh, you're still yourself, even after 100 years. You're not a 100-year-old transcendent. You deserve to think about your life as a young girl. I don't want to force you to think like a grown-up. It's not your fault, Hanyu. I was just being arrogant. Call me if you want to talk. You're not crying anymore. You're not going to beg me not to give up on my life. You're a stubborn person. I know it's better not to be too persistent with you. After all these years, you know me very well. I know you're already aware, but let me say this. Today's the day. Do your best. No matter what you do or don't do, this world is going to end today, but if you wish for it, you'll see a brand new day, just like when morning comes. You might find yourself back in June of this year again, but it'll still be a brand new day. When I was younger, every day seemed so boring. Every morning I thought the same things would happen again after I woke up. This just means that it'll end up being true. Let me just tell you to live this day productively. I'm not going to say anything else to you. I knew today was the day, but it's still difficult to hear that from you. It's going to come to an end again, huh? Yes, it's going to end again, just like always. Hanyu disappeared and it went completely quiet inside the house. How should I spend my day? How should I end this day? Should I work on my homework, knowing that I'm not going to make it on time? I only have half a day left. I have to do my best. I should think about what I can do. This world is supposed to be a happy place. People are enjoying their lives. I should have enjoyed my life more too. I don't mean that I should have lived my life in blind optimism. It means that I should have enjoyed my life by fully experiencing both happiness and sadness. If I did that, I wouldn't be as worried about what to do after my death. I should have simply lived with all my might. When the time comes, it'll all be over. Today, I will live. It's a very important phrase, but it sounds meaningless when I say it because I can repeat this meaningless life as many times as I wish.
What?
Fuck, I'm ready!
What?
That melody
Okay.
gives me chills. Ugh!
Wow, it's just like Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episode 12.
It's gonna live, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Ready. Well, Satiko was at school. Also, I haven't watched Deep Space Nine, so I don't fucking know what you're talking about.
That's right, I only watched it literally this morning.
Nice. Well, maybe I'll watch it this afternoon, and then we can come back.
It was great. There
this
was
evening.
there was secret nanites in that world too, keeping people
Cool.
alive and resurrecting them after
There's
their
no
death.
nanites in this. It's just weird
No,
virus
they're
shit.
nanites.
Oh. I mean, would the plot really change if it was nanites?
No,
I don't think so.
it'd be just as garbage.
Wow. It's nanomachine, son. Well, Satiko was
You're
at school.
saying that Okinogi is actually Big Boss?
And Takano is the president of the United States of America?
Yes.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. While Satiko was at school, I washed the dishes. Hanyu would usually stay with me when Satiko wasn't around, but she's not here right now. It's been a while since I was all by myself. I never thought anyone could be so lonely while washing the dishes. I'm going to die today anyway. This world is ending today. Why should I wash these dishes? Because I'm thinking about Satiko, who will have to move on with her life after tomorrow. I will encounter a new Satiko in the next world. But I realized something after hearing what Satiko told me earlier. After I'm dead, I wonder how Satiko will move on with her life. The worlds that I've left in the past all went on without me. Literally anything could have happened after I died that I am unaware of.
That's right. Just
Yeah.
like Oishi and Akasaka meeting up and having a swell old talk.
Yeah. I do love the like tragedy of this, that she like time loop after time loop, she's like got that little bit of hope, like, well, at least after I die, the people who lived get to move on. Nope. Nope. Ugh. I wonder if Satiko will be able to cook without me. I wonder if she can go shopping on her own. I wonder if she can wash her clothes by herself. I've been avoiding thinking about this, but Satiko and my other friends must have been overcome by sadness. It's too late for me to think about this, but I started feeling like I want to cry. I'm feeling like this because I don't want to leave this world. This is the world that I've always wanted. It's my hope that I can continue to live in this world beyond June 1983. After a long journey, I finally ended up in this world, but I was able to truly live in this ideal world for only one night. The night of Watanagashi. This world will be shattered again after I die tonight. We finally saved Satiko and all our friends assume that our happy life has returned. However, I'm going to die tonight. They will mourn for me. We worked so hard to make a miracle happen, but they're going to lose their happy world in just one day. Am I going to start a new life in the next world as if nothing happened? I'd lived 3 days in my new world, but 3 sad days were going to pass in this world. It's no good. I can't think straight anymore. I couldn't stop the tears from flowing from my eyes. I hugged Satiko's pillow and cried. I could smell her scent. After I die, Satiko will probably hug my pillow and cry just like this. Is everyone else going to cry for me too? I'm sure they will. And they'll be sad. Not about my death. They'll be sad not because I'm dead, but because I never told them about what was troubling me so much. I wonder if they're going to feel regret. Will they wonder what they could have done to open up my heart? What they could have done to help me in my time of trouble? Will they wonder what they could have done to save me? I felt miserable and frustrated. I held Satiko's pillow and continued to cry. And the next moment I heard the phone ringing. I tried to ignore it, but it wouldn't stop ringing. I picked up the phone, hoping that my friends would call to check on me. However, I heard a weird guy's voice coming from the receiver.
Hello, is this Okinogi God? Oh, fuck off.
We should have guessed. We should have known.
Why would they say I guess it would be one of his mooks. It would be one of his mooks, right? Because otherwise she would recognize the voice.
I mean, I could always do Okonogi's voice and like
just do Okonogi's voice anyway. Yeah, please do.
Let me just like, hey, how's it going?
I'll need to take 5 points for that, regardless of whether or not this applies.
That sounds good. Hey, yeah. Hello, this is Okonogi Gardens. Is this the Friday residence there? Okonogi. Oh, it's just Okonogi! Damn, pinching my nose didn't disguise my voice at all, Okonogi says. It was Okonogi from the Mountain Dogs. It was the first time I'd received a phone call from him. I'm calling because I have something urgent to ask you. I called the school, but they told me that you're sick today. Are you feeling all right? I'm not all right. This is the day that I die. I knew he had no idea, but I still couldn't help but feel upset. It's only a cold. I just want to rest today, please. Oh, really? Well, that's a very fortunate coincidence. What? I had no idea what made him say that. He was glad that I was sick. Why is it fortunate for you that I'm home?
Why is it fortunate?
I didn't want to add that in. It's bad grammar. Well, we got a tip from Tokyo that someone is planning to murder you.
Oh, no!
I don't know who it could be, but I'm sure they're very handsome. What do you mean? Tokyo was investigating the murder of Tomotaku Flash-san and Takano-san. Their investigation concluded that there's a high possibility Dr. Irie is pulling the strings. Irie is behind everything. Come on. She can't believe this shit. She can't. This is the first time I've heard something like this. This isn't something that happens at random. It's the very first time. That means it's not just a coincidence. I'm hearing this now because of something that I did differently in this world. I've done many things differently in this world, though. I can't tell which decision led me to this result. However, maybe this is something that could change my life drastically. Okonogi continued to explain to me. There had been budget cuts to their research, and they were scheduled to be shut down within a few years. Eri was strongly against that because he was embezzling their research money by requesting bigger and bigger budgets. Because they were going to cancel research, he tried to sell the research data and make a lot of money off of it. Money seems like a weak motivation for this crime.
It does.
Detective glasses on. Is that really true? I know it's hard to believe, but it is. I always thought he was kind of suspicious myself.
All right, listen, life
I
pro
always thought he
tip.
was kind of suspicious. that guy,
Life
you know?
pro
Yeah,
tip. If
shifty
anyone
eyes.
in any murder mystery starts talking money,
Yeah.
it's probably them.
You probably killed him for money. Not for any kind of deep-seated
If they
resent
try and
or...
buy out the detective, if
Yep.
they say that somebody else did it all for
Yep.
money, if they happen to have a lot of money that they're, that they're talking about for other reasons,
Yep,
it's them.
And if it turns out in the novel you're reading that it is that person doing things for money, it was a bad novel anyway, and you shouldn't have read it. Shame on you. I think I can say with certainty, pause for effect, that Irie is not that type of person. I've been around him for years, and as far as I know, he's not a bad guy. He doesn't even have the guts to be one. He pretends to be cold-hearted for the sake of research, but he can't shake his regrets. He's simply a nice person.
Well, there you go. Problem solved.
There you
It's
go.
not Irie, guys. I think we need to scrap him and figure out who it
Back
actually
to the
is.
drawing board, Felix. Hop on it. You're supposed to be solving this.
Damn.
Who could it be? It's hard to believe.
Could you
that-
imagine?
Can I
Sorry.
Yes.
Could you imagine if they bait and switch, then it just ended up actually being Irie at the
Yeah,
end?
it was like Takano was on crazy drugs that Irie gave her or something like
Yeah.
that. Or like,
and
it was
that
all
was
fake.
all her hallucination from
Dude.
the syndrome.
That would be amazing, but also really terrible.
Really awful.
It would explain the hamminess.
Mhm.
It's hard to believe that he was embezzling money from Tokyo. I'm starting to be suspicious of Takano, just a little bit, like 3%, but she's actually a nice person too. She seemed mean at times, but she could also act as innocent as a child. However, I'm starting to suspect her because Oishi told me that the body they found in Gifu might not be Takano's body. I also don't like this, over-explanation of Rika's
You
thought
don't
process.
say.
Look, I want to put that out there so it's clear that I'm
we
not
have
just...
we have a phrase for that here on this show, Ben.
Would you like to remind me of it?
I've never heard Ryukashi repeat himself.
I don't remember you ever saying that.
Okay.
I don't think you
Good.
said that ever.
Because I never have.
It's true. You would never repeat yourself
I
like
never
that.
would repeat myself.
Excellent. The jokes come all the way back around. Let's continue. Okonogi works for Takano. That means I can't trust Okonogi. In other words, I can trust Irie because Okonogi is clearly just trying to set him up. On the other hand, if Takano isn't guilty, I could be making a huge mistake. You see, the Hanamizawa club, we played Mafia this one time, and I saw Mion do a similar strat, you see. Yet it always seemed to me as though Tomotaki, Flash, and Irie were good friends. She's using social deduction.
Oh, well
That's
done.
great. Look at her go. Rather than logical arguments.
That's right.
If Tokyo had suspected that Irie was embezzling money from them, Tomotaki Flash would have treated him far more coldly. Anyway, at the very least, Tomotaki Flash of Tokyo didn't have such a bad impression of Irie. The Irie of the Irie Institute and Tomotaki Flash of Tokyo were good friends. Tomotaki Flash of Tokyo and Takano of Tokyo were good friends. Takano of Tokyo and Okonogi of Tokyo were superior and subordinates of Tokyo. But Okonogi of Tokyo says that Tokyo is a species of Irie who is not of Tokyo. This doesn't make sense.
There's so many circles. All the squares make a circle.
Oh my god. But what if? Triangle. Follow me here. Illuminati confirmed.
Oh, God.
This doesn't make sense. Everyone seems to be good friends at first glance, but the links don't connect from start to finish. Irie thinks he has a positive relationship with Tokyo, but Tokyo is suspicious of Irie. That's just odd, no matter which way you look at it. The chain should be connected, but one of the links is twisted out of order. It's breaking the loop. Tokyo is conducting further investigations at the moment. We also have information that Irie is trying to use you as a bargaining chip. For that reason, we've been told to turn up your security starting today. So I'm glad that you're home right now. There are 20 security guards patrolling the British Shrine in 3 shifts. You may not notice, but they're there for you. They're there for you.
Yes. It was very on the nose. I got it.
I'm loving this. There's a lot of security. How long are you going to guard me like that? Until Tokyo feels that you're no longer a danger.
In
In danger. In danger. Slip of the tongue there.
whoopsie daisies.
Whoopsie. until this whole case is resolved and everything's finished up. Dead and buried. That should have been good news for me, since today was the day I was supposed to die. This is exactly the kind of security that I wanted. That's why I let Takano into the ritual storehouse. However, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yay!
What the fuck? Translators. Terrible. Tokyo should be my ally, but that arrangement is just like Iri's relationship with Tokyo. Everything seems in order from my end, but when you trace it the other way, it feels like something's off at some point. I have this uncomfortable feeling because I have a few uncertainties about Tokyo. Tokyo and Iri have strong ties, but they're suspicious of him. Is Iri actually a bad man? Is Takano still alive and she the bad girl who killed Tomotaki Flash? Those questions and more may be uncertain about accepting help from Tokyo. I thought Tokyo as a single organization would move with a single intention. But it wasn't true. But in reality, they have multiple different intentions. In other words, there must be multiple... What's the word? I see it in the political section newspapers all the time. Factions. Nailed it. Are there two factions in Tokyo? One that wants to remain friendly with Irie and one that looks down on him? That would explain the irregularities that I am sensing. Maybe I've been talking to Oishi too much. If he had... I'm watching Felix just nod along yes! These are all valid concerns that we've already been over. If he hadn't told me that he was suspicious of Takano, would I have believed Okinogi without a doubt? Well, maybe not. Even without Oishi's theory, Okinogi still sounded very suspicious.
You know what? Rikushi doesn't need an editor, Ben.
He needs us.
No, he doesn't. He just needs, every time he feels the need to use these clouds, to realize that he's going on for too long. Because that's always when he pulls them out.
It's true. When he's got internal monologue going, when he's already had them express their internal monologue in the scene.
When they are used at the start of a scene, it's normally a sign the scene's going to repeat itself, but they don't go on for too long.
Yep.
But when they're used midway through a scene, it's
a way to distract.
Always repetition.
Yeah, there's always these cutaways so that we can have inner monologue time.
Yeah.
But it's not...
Just give me a checkbox that says skip the red clouds, and this novel would instantly be better.
Yeah. But Okinogi sounds suspicious. I could see his face through the phone.
That's right.
It's a good joke. Iri was loyal to his research on Hinamizawa syndrome. Tokyo understood this, so his relationship with Tomoaki Flash wasn't very strained. Plus, Iri isn't the type of person who would commit embezzlement because I think he's a cool guy.
That's right. That's what it says on
of
the
course,
page.
He has some ambition as a researcher, but that only goes as far as common sense expects any researcher to. It's nothing like the criminal aspirations that would lead to major embezzlements because he's a good guy.
That's right.
As I've said. A great number of the mountain dogs
20
were
of
going
them,
to be guarding me.
In 3 shifts.
Until I was no longer a danger to them.
That's right.
It's getting late. It's getting very late. This is what I've been wanting in my previous lives, but for some reason, I couldn't be happy about it. I couldn't help but feel like I was missing something. If this house is like an empty birdcage, then they'd be the fox with feathers stuck to its face. I don't know if I can really trust the people who are protecting me. I tried to recall more about Okonogi. The mountain dogs have been protecting me for years. Okonogi proved his skills in many of my other lives. To them, I'm something of a special existence.
I've never seen anyone mow lawns quite like him.
God damn it. If something happens to me, it would be a disaster. The Iri Institute is there to keep Hinamizawa syndrome under control, and the mountain dogs are there to protect me from evildoers. So why would they try to betray me now? I thought about it for a while, but I had no idea. I just know one thing for sure. I can't feel comfortable with the protection of the mountain dogs alone. I want someone other than Tokyo protecting me. But I bet such a person wouldn't believe me. Wait. What about Oishi? What about him? I've been keeping in touch with that man, that beautiful man, since the other day. He still thinks the mysterious deaths in Namizawa are all plotted by the village authorities. If he believes that, then he might believe that my life is in danger. For him, I'm a special person with lots of useful information. The mountain dogs hate the police, though. When I asked them to assassinate Satiko's uncle, they refused because he was being watched by the police. I would feel relieved if the police were guarding me along with the mountain dogs. That way, the dogs wouldn't be able to harm me, even if they were working for an evil faction of Tokyo. Besides that, if my suspicions towards them turned out to be baseless, more protection couldn't hurt. I'm sure that double security will keep me safe.
Yes.
Double. I understand. I'll stay home for today. Yes, please do. And Please, don't go out into the city and try to pick a fight with any delinquents, you know? Meep. Sorry about that. Anyway, please take care of yourself. Don't go anywhere. I have a cold, so may I at least go to the clinic? You never know what might happen there, so please, don't go near to the clinic for a while. I don't want them to inject you with anything suspicious. Uri would never do anything like that. That's what we want to believe, but you need to be careful of him until things are cleaned up. So I have no choice, huh? No! You've picked up the local dialect, Okonogi. You used to have a Tokyo accent before. I like to think I can fix it fast, though, but it's my job to blend in with the local culture, you see. I finished speaking with him. As soon as I hung up the phone, I opened my phone book and looked for the number to the Okinogi Police Department.
And the phone wasn't tapped. And
I was going to say, it's either tapped or cut, surely. Ooh. It was nearly noon. High noon. It felt like the pages of the phone book were sticking to my skin. I must have been in a hurry.
That's right, she went so fast, her flesh melted through the page.
It's like sucked into the book.
I am speed.
And then it turns into an echo. That's how it works. That's how we get to the next book.
I wouldn't even be mad.
That'd be great. I really don't want to die. I want to stay in this world. I don't want to leave this perfect world. I'm trying to do something because I don't want to die. I'm trying to live with all of my might, but I'm trying to enjoy my life. For the first time, I was spending my last day positively without drinking wine until I was drunk. Hello, it is Oishi. Sorry for the wait. I was getting ready to leave for Gifu Prefecture. I was going to browbeat them until they owned up to botching the case, you know? Gifu, you're talking about Takano's body. Yes. My colleagues are convinced that the body is Takano, but I am still not satisfied. I never am, really. That's why I'm going there personally. If that body isn't Takano, this is going to be an entirely different story. You can put a search out for as a material witness, see? Fortunately, I have lots of communications in the Gifu Police Department. I'll go have a nice long chat with them. Looked like Oishi was proactively moving forward with the investigation. If that body really is Takano, then that would be sad for her, but it would give me reason to trust the mountain dogs. If that's not Takano, then it would tell me that she's part of this entire incident. No matter what the result is, it will give me some kind of hint, but only if I am still alive. But really, it's unfortunate. Oishi is leaving for Gifu. He can't be around to protect me. Oishi, some stranger called me today. I don't know who it was, but he said he's one of the villagers. He didn't tell you who he was? I see. Please go on. What did he tell you? No, he told me that someone is going to kill me. He said they'd kill me tonight at the earliest. Is that true? I see. That's not outside the realm of possibility. I see. I have to leave soon, but I will send some officers over there. I'll tell them to keep you safe. You're home right now, right? Yes. Do you have a cold or something? Just stay home and lock your doors and windows. I will send someone very qualified over immediately. That is an Oishi promise.
It's just Kuma-chan with a softball.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Kuma-chan. It's going to be great.
What's wrong, Oishi-san? You'll be late for your appointment.
I just got a call from Rika Verde. Someone called to warn her that she was going to be murdered.
Someone is trying to kill Rika Furude. But why? I thought she was like the village mascot.
It might be warning for contacting me about the incidents in the village. I don't know if they're really trying to kill her, but she is just a young girl, you see. I'm just sure she's very frightened right about now. Plus, if we lose her trust now, that might hurt our relationship in future. 2 or 3 officers are enough, but please send them over at once. Also, get a hold of her local officer and have them reassure her son.
Yes, sir.
Rika Furude might have some kind of hint regarding the mysterious deaths in Yamazawa. Oishi couldn't let her die. So, what was it? Like 10 people, whatever it was?
20 people over 3 shifts.
Whatever it was. Against 3 police officers.
That's right.
That sounds fair.
And as we know, 20 does not divide into 3.
It's true.
Which means
there's a lot of people.
That there's some split bodies.
Well, there are clones, obviously, and the clones can split into
And you don't think the clones count as people? No, they're like...
They split... They're like...
Are you saying that Oishi's friend who was cut into pieces was actually a clone whose limbs went about their separate ways?
When he was split into 6 pieces or whatever, each of those pieces turned into a
And
different
there's 6
clone of
people
Oishi.
on each shift.
There you go.
It makes sense now.
Makes sense. And the other 2 are just chilling, having a coffee. Unless they're splitting up, which obviously. Point is, they're clones.
It's crazy.
It's Illuminati. We should head back to Hinamizawa as long as we get the Gifu Police Department to spill beans. Yes, this is going to be a pretty tight schedule for a business trip.
This will be a piece of cake. I think we got that backwards, but it doesn't matter.
This will be piece of cake.
Because we can take a point for it.
Yay, points.
Unnecessarily.
This is Skylock. The local police officer is on the shrine property. He's heading towards R's house.
Roger, continue observation.
Encountering R, she left the officer inside.
I'll call the Academia Police Department. She requested protection on her own.
Did she tell him about us?
She told them she got an anonymous call. I'm sure that's made up. The Academia Police Department is sending a few more officers to her location.
What? Did she trust the mountain dogs?
This is trouble. It's going to prove more difficult to continue this mission. Lowercase letter after full stop.
Good stuff. Is it possible that she somehow found out? Well, we're probably safe. Just tell the team to be aware of the officers. We don't want them to become suspicious of us.
Roger. HQ to all units. There are police officers around the Furude Shrine. Please be mindful of them.
We may have to postpone tonight's mission.
I'll call her, but I'm sure the major will order her go anyway. Everything's all right. Oh, wait, this is
definitely
going to be okay.
It does look. I had an inkling we might have had that backwards, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They're all mooks. None
10
of those
points.
sprites. They're not even on screen. They couldn't even have sprites if they
10
wanted to.
points. Everything was already set up for R to be discovered dead tomorrow morning so we can move to the next stage. We don't want the police to suspect us.
Don't want the police to suspect us. If they start suspecting you, just leave quietly. Or, stab them in the back.
Good idea.
Oishi had called the officers pretty quickly. The officer who was in the area arrived within 10 minutes after I spoke with him. He asked me what kind of phone call I received today. I decided to make up a whole story. It'll all be over if they check my call history, but I'm sure Oishi won't bother doing anything like that. He thinks I'm worth protecting because I have information about the incidents in Hinamizawa. The policeman is one of the villagers, so I know him very well. More officers are coming here from the Okinogi department. The officer told me to relax because he'd stay with me until then. Oishi must have thought I was frightened half to death after getting a threatening phone call. After about 30 minutes, 4 officers in plain clothes arrived at the shrine. The local officer returned to the police box.
Listen, I'd normally cut out the pauses here, Ben, but
What?
you're looking at your phone. It is 20 minutes to 9 p.m.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I was checking it while I was transitioning.
I know, but listen, Ben, I felt a pause there. I felt you look at your phone and feel concern about the fact that it is getting so late.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
We're going to finish it. That's what we're going to do,
I know
Ben.
we're going to finish it, but, it was... I need like an energy bar or something.
No, you don't. You just need to get hyped because the story is going to go bananas and you know it.
I know it is. I'm ready for that. It's just getting through this bit. Who's this? Is this some officer? You want to play this random officer?
Sure. We've heard the whole story.
That's your policeman voice?
Yes. This is why I
We've
would never
heard
be
the
a
whole
policeman.
story.
This is why I'd never be a policeman in real life.
This is please call us if something happens.
We'll guard the shrine, so please call us if something happens. Detective Oishi will be here this evening.
Beautiful. Why are you whispering?
Because he's very hot.
Okay. I was relieved to hear that Oishi would be coming here. Thank you very much.
At least one person will be downstairs. I'm sorry, but is it okay if we use your restroom? Also, will you give us one of your spare keys, just in case?
Oh, that's where you get stabbed, in the toilet.
Yes.
Sure, you can use the restroom too. My house is on the 2nd floor of a storage building. The 1st floor contains emergency supplies for the village. I'm happy to know that at least one police officer will be there for me.
This is just one giant inflatable raft for all the village to get on if the
it's
dam
already,
suddenly
it's already
showed
blown
up.
up too. It's just like the
pops
entire
out.
space is just this big raft. It's got like dinosaur head. That's it. That's all that needs to be down there. Emergency supplies, people, just in case. Oh, I'm happy to know that at least one police officer will be there for me. The officers confirmed almost said suspicions. The officers confirmed their positions on the map of the shrine. One will be in the storage building and 2 more will walk around the shrine property. Also, 1 more officer will be standing in front of the stairs that lead to the shrine.
And they're all gonna be dead.
This world's Oishi is certainly reliable. In my other lives, Oishi tended to look at me as his enemy. However, in this world, he thinks I'm on his side. The fool. I'm sure it's because we all became friendly with him around the time we saved Satiko. It was unfortunate at the time, but perhaps the return of Satiko's uncle was a necessary event. If Okonogi was right about Irie, he he wouldn't be able to come near me with 20 mounted dogs and 4 police officers protecting me. If Okonogi is the bad guy, they'd be discouraged from acting by the presence of the police. Not too different from giving garlic to a vampire. This is the best protection I've had in 100 years. Even so, am I still going to be killed tonight? I need to do whatever I can. I should struggle as hard as possible. I won't give up. I won't even think about my next life. This is what enjoying life is all about. This is what living seriously is all about. Have you ever heard of the wolves and sheep puzzle?
No.
So when there's an overwhelming number of wolves and like significantly lower number of sheep, but the wolves will eat the sheep.
Yes.
Apparently it's like a pretty well-known like puzzle.
I can't say I've ever heard of it.
I know, it's a
Makes
pretty good
sense,
one.
though.
You should play it sometime. I think you'd be pretty good at it.
I disagree.
Okay, well.
I was really hoping we weren't
Sorry.
about to get a Hanyu scene, but here we are.
I guess we are.
Ugh.
Hanyu, are you there? I'd like to delay the climax of this story for just a little bit.
please.
Oh, I'm here. What do you think about all this? I have to admit, I've never seen anything like this before. Is it still wrong for me to expect something different this time? Oh, I'm not going to hope for anything. I'll just have to accept whatever the result is. Hanyu was still acting like a bystander. I knew that she was going to say something like that. The part of me was hoping she would say something more positive. Upon hearing her say what she did, I felt a little disappointed and wondered why Hanyu refused to be anything but an onlooker. I always thought it was normal for her to be that way because she is a special existence. Just like me, I'm special too. I also convinced myself I had to be an onlooker too since I was a similar special being. However, I can't just let go of everything and become a bystander. I can't become like her. I can't stop hoping for a better life for Rika Furude. That hope was betrayed so many times and my heart was crushed countless more. This melody gives me life. Fuck. That's why I stopped expecting anything to turn out the way I wanted. So, is Hanyu the same way? Are you also afraid of being hurt? I've only lived 100 years, but I know how frightening it is to have high expectations. Hanyu should also be aware of that, since she's lived far longer than me.
You could straight up just cut the other Hanyu scene together with this one with
You
a
totally
single
could.
sentence.
You totally could. I always thought that Hanyu was a special existence. Like me, I am also a special existence.
That's right.
But except for the fact that she's invisible, we're both special existences.
That's
We're
correct.
the same. She has the same thoughts and feelings as everyone else, yet I still saw her as a special existence.
Just like Eureka.
Just like Rika said. It's like I said.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just assumed that her mind worked in a different way. Well, I've been living far longer than you. I know that there are more sad things and happy things in this world, and that your hopes will always be betrayed. That's why I don't want to be hurt anymore. So you're not expecting anything from this world either. I still have hope that this world might be different. But you think I'll just be killed again? Oh, that's not what I'm thinking.
Yes, it is.
Hanyu looked uncomfortable. She had no doubts that I'd be killed again that night.
Oh.
That's what I couldn't have inferred that. That's what it means to not have hope. But she just can't turn up to it because she doesn't want to hurt my feelings. You're the same as Satiko. You're waiting for some stroke of luck or some miracle to come and help you. You're afraid of fighting. You think that being patient is the same as being strong. That's how I was until just a little while ago. Hanyu looked down and bit her lip. She couldn't deny what I said. I know that you've heard it over and over. Miracles will not happen unless everyone works together. That means you have to believe too. A miracle will never happen unless everyone believes in it. What I just said sounded as though I was blaming her for the miracle not happening. Maybe I was too harsh on her. I stayed quiet and Hanyu continued to look at the floor, shaking. And she looked up at me and she spoke. I noticed sadness, but also a bit of anger in her eyes.
But we don't have a sprite for that, so here's a black screen.
She never gets angry. She can't get angry canonically. I can't even touch people or talk to them. You think I'm just like everyone else, even though all I can do is watch? You understand how it feels to not be involved in anything? There was a slight severity in the tail end of Hanyu's speech. Except for me, she can't communicate with anyone in this world. She hates to be reminded of that. I'm sorry. Let's stop this. I don't want to have a fight with you. I don't want to spend the rest of the time I'm alive in an argument. I don't want to argue with you either. But let me just say one thing.
I don't want to have an argument, but let me say one thing before we finish.
Over several pages, yes. You're my friend. I don't want my friend to tell me not to expect too much out of my life. I'll apologize for that, but you should try respecting my opinions too. She can be very selfish. I mean, stubborn sometimes. Hanyu seems weak on the outside, but she actually has a very strong moral code, one that she wouldn't bend for anything. She apologized to me, but she wasn't being honest. She still wasn't expecting anything good to come from this world. She still thinks that I'm going to die pitifully. That's why she refuses to believe in miracles. I've been living with her long enough to read her mind. I feel bad for her in a sense. She's been living too long and lost all of her hope. Just like me. Hanyu told me to call her if anything else happened and soon disappeared.
Wow, just like last time.
Just like last time. All the parallels. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Sorry. Fuck. I feel bad.
Carry on.
I'm going. I am sure she's still around. She's probably still watching me as if she's watching a TV show. Like that Maria girl in Umaneko. The time of my death is slowly approaching. Will I be able to survive this time? It's been a long time since I faced this fear without drinking wine. There we go. We made it to the end.
We did it, everyone.
This has to be the last chapter. Surely.
Oh, God.
Surely we're up to the final chapter. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. We have to camp out. We have to camp out in the studio.
It's a good place to self-isolate responsibly.
No, I agree. It's not that uncomfortable. It's a little bit like warm, a little bit humid.
Yeah, because the AC's been off for hours.
I figured. But you know, it could be worse. I took my jumper off. I'm in a shirt and shorts. I'm prepared.
Ugh. Listen, if it goes on so long that the shirts come off too, we have a problem.
We can't let the people know that. Some people go crazy.
Well, there you go. That's an extra long one, an hour and a half. We really should have split that halfway.
Nah, fuck it. Go. The people want a movie.
They do.
I need a blanket, honestly. That'd be nice.
I just can't wait for the next chapter to be like 30 minutes, and it's like,
my
damn
God.
it.
It can't be. It can't physically be. But if it's 2 chapters, Higurashi!
That's right. This is a game of endurance now.
It really is. Let's keep going. Damn.
I mean, we obviously complained about the repetition there, but
it's par for the course in a Higurashi novel, but it's especially egregious.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is like I was like, I don't think I've been this frustrated with a repetition case in a Higurashi novel since maybe Arc 6.
Yeah,
but I didn't know whether that was because of the writing or because we've been here for 9.5 hours.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, I think. I'll be interested to see how other people comment on this because it's definitely like God, I love Higurashi, but he needs to work on his everything.
That's right. We've given him a solution. All he can do now is learn from it.
Cut out those monologues. Yeah, I know. We'll see how things go. Maybe it'll get snappier as we go forward.
Maybe it will.
But I'm excited. I'm ready for the ending.
Good.
I'm hyped. Next time.